role in Sumerian affairs is not certain, though not improbable. At all events, the prominence of Ea led, as in the case of Nippur, to the survival of Eridu as a sacred city, long after it had ceased to have any significance as a political center. Myths in which Ea figures prominently have been found in Assurbanipal's library, and in the Hattus's archive in Hittite Anatolia. As Ea, Enki had a wide influence outside of Sumer, being equated with El, at Ugarit, and possibly Yah, at Ibla, in the Canaanite Ilm pantheon. He is also found in Hurrian and Hittite mythology as a god of contracts, and is particularly favorable to humankind. It has been suggested that etymologically the name Ea comes from the term *hyy, life, referring to Enki's waters as life-giving. 39. Enki /Ea is essentially a god of civilization, wisdom, and culture. He was also the creator and protector of man, and off-world in general. Traces of this version of Ea appear in the Marduk epic celebrating the achievements of this god and the close connection between the Ea cult at Eridu and that of Marduk. The correlation between the two arises from two other important connections. 1. That the name of Marduk's sanctuary at Babylon bears the same name, Esagila, as that of the temple in Eridu, and 2. That Marduk is generally termed the son of Ea, who derives his powers from the voluntary abdication of the father in favor of his son. Accordingly, the incantations originally composed for the Ea cult were re-edited by the priests of Babylon and adapted to the worship of Marduk, and, similarly, the hymns to Marduk betray traces of the transfer to Marduk of attributes which originally belonged to Ea. It is, however, as the third figure in the triad, the two other members of which were Anu and Enlil, that Ea acquires his permanent place in the pantheon. To him was assigned the control of the watery element, and in this capacity he becomes the Sharaxi, i.e. king of the Apsu or the abyss. The Apsu was figured as the abyss of water beneath the earth, and since the gathering place of the dead, known as Aralu, was situated near the confines of the Apsu, he was also designated as Enki, i.e. lord of that which is below, in contrast to Anu, who was the lord of above or the heavens. The cult of Ea extended throughout Babylonia and Assyria. We find temples and shrines erected in his honor, for example at Nippur, Gersu, Ur, Babylon, Sippar, and Nineveh, and then numerous epithets given to him, as well as the various forms under which the god appears, alike bear witness to the popularity which he enjoyed from the earliest to the latest period of Babylonian Assyrian history. The consort of Ea, known as Ninhursag, Ki, Urish Damkina, Lady of that which is below, or Damganana, Big Lady of the waters, originally was fully equal with Ea, but in more patriarchal Assyrian and Neo-Babylonian times plays a part merely in association with her lord. Generally, however, Enki seems to be a reflection of pre-patriarchal times, in which relations between the sexes were characterized by a situation of greater gender equality. In his character, he prefers persuasion to conflict, which he seeks to avoid if possible. Ea and West Semitic deities. In 1964, a team of Italian archaeologists under the direction of Paolo Maffei of the University of Rome La Sapienza performed a series of excavations of material from the 3rd millennium BCE city of Ibla. Much of the written material found in these digs was later translated by Giovanni Pettinato. Among other conclusions, he found a tendency among the inhabitants of Ibla, after the reign of Sargon of Akkad, to replace the name of El, king of the gods of the Canaanite pantheon, found in names such as Mikael and Ishmael, with Ia, Nika, Ishmael. 40. Jean Bottero, 1952, 41, and others, 42, suggested that Ia in this case is a West Semitic, Canaanite way of pronouncing the Akkadian name Ea, associated to the Canaanite theonym Yahu, the Hebrew YHWH. Some scholars remain skeptical of the theory while explaining how it might have been misinterpreted. 43. Ia has also been compared by William Hello with the Ugaritic god Yam, also called Judge Naha, or Judge River, whose earlier name in at least one ancient source was Yor, or Yah. 44. Ea was also known as Dagon and Rana, Greece's sons, the first of the 7 sages. 45. See also Ancient Near East. Azazel. Barbar Temple, a Dilmunira temple in Bahrain devoted to the worship of Enki. Capricorn, astrology. Capricornus. Eo. Mythology. Mesopotamian mythology. References. Notes. In the larger narrative, Enmerkar is the king of Iraq, Sumer, and